Hello, this is Mara Jane, and you're listening to The Unseen Perspective. Hello, and welcome back to The Unseen Perspective. I am your visually impaired host, Mara Jane. And today I have a returning guest with me, someone who you all know and love. I hope I know and love her. The one and the only, Mary Flowers.
Hello.
So today we are going to talk about KSSB, the Kansas State School for the Blind. More specifically, we are going to talk about their extended school year program, as we used to be students there and we are now staff there, which is pretty cool. And we're going to talk about our experience with that. And Mary is also going to talk about her experience with the KSSB transition program. So, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so Mary and I have been going to KSSB for years and years, at least 10 years. And we used to be students because we are visually impaired, and so we were able to go to their summer program. But we did not go there during the school year. But the summer program is super awesome. It's called Extended School Year. And let's see. I don't know how long we were students. Probably like at least 10 years, like I said.
Yeah.
But
I think it was about 10 years.
Yeah. Somewhere around there. But for the past 2 years, we have been staff members. So that's been a unique experience. But I worked in the makerspace, which is a very creative lab area where you can make t-shirts, cups, hats, 3D printed things, just stuff like that. And I've been thriving there because I'm a very creative person. But where have you been working, Mary?
For my first summer, I worked in the classroom with a class of middle schoolers. And that was a whole lot of fun. It was a whole different experience, and I loved working there. But this past year, I just finished up working in the dorms in the evening, and that was fabulous. It was such a fun experience, but both of them were very unique experiences.
I'm sure. So, when was your first year at ESY? Do you remember?
My first year at ESY was summer of 2013 when I was 7, I think.
Okay, I think I started the year after you. So
I think you started
maybe 2 years?
either the year after or 2 years after.
Yeah, so it was a long time ago. I don't remember exactly when. 2014, 2015. I think I was going into 2nd or 3rd grade, so yeah, that would be right. But that's how we met, isn't it? Is through
Yes.
ESY, yeah. Back when we were in the Littles program. But
Yes.
yeah, that was so fun when we used to do remember when they read Frog and Toad with us, and
Yes.
we had that kinetic sand. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
those are the days. But we have grown since then, which has some fun parts and also some not so fun parts, but overall, it's been a cool experience, especially because we get to work at KSSB now. So, Mary, what was it like for you to transition from being a student to being a staff member?
It was really strange because people trusted me with doing things and running activities, and they expected me to know things, and that was very jarring for me because I'm like, I don't know anything, but you guys expect me to know things. Okay, let's do this. This is fun.
Yeah, I could see where that would be stressful. I had an issue, several issues really, with knowing how to work the machines in the makerspace, because there's a lot of machines there, like a 3D printer, a lot of other kinds of printers. There's a Cricut, just things like that. I really wanted to know how to use them so I could help with the students, but it was hard because of my vision loss, and I realized that this year because like, it wasn't just because I had a lack of skill. I mean, I hope. But because I have sighted coworkers now. I had 2 blind coworkers last summer, but this summer I had sighted coworkers who were able to learn the machines, like, fairly quickly. So I'm guessing that was what the problem was, is, like, I struggled more because they weren't the most accessible things in the world. But I remember being so stressed out because I didn't know how to use the machines, and, like, the kids would expect me to, and it was just very overwhelming. Even this year, like, I still don't really know how to use a lot of the machines, or at least I can't because of the vision loss. But you didn't have to operate any special machinery, did you? You just worked with the kids?
No, I just had to kind of learn how to be an instructional aide in a classroom, and it was a whole different thing because I had to work on knowing how to help the kids, when to help the kids, what to do if kids are misbehaving, and all the other things that you need to know in a classroom. And I had to learn that pretty quickly.
Yeah. That is the interesting thing about, like, you really have to learn on the job, which is stressful at the time, but I realized that it really is, like, a good experience because there's no way you learn more effectively than, like, learning on the job, because you kind of have to learn, and so it's, like, way different than, like, being trained separately. And I think it's valuable, but it is certainly stressful.
It was stressful at first, but after I finished, I think especially this year when I was working in the dorms, I walked into training day knowing absolutely nothing. I had no idea what I was expected to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of thrown in with the wolves on Sunday when the kids got there, and I was told, oh yeah, just find something to do. So I'm like, okay. So I found something to do, and by day 2, by the Tuesday of the first week, I pretty much knew what to do, and I was pretty good. But
good for you. That's kind of similar with what I was saying with the machines, is you're kind of just expected to know what to do and, like, to anticipate people's needs, and that's not a strength that I've ever had, so it's like, it's hard, but again, learning on the job is, like, way more effective than being trained separately, so I am grateful for it, but yeah. So, what's been your favorite part of both being a student and being a staff member at ESY?
I think I would have the same answer for both of those. I think making connections and building relationships. When I was a student, it was making friends that I wouldn't have made otherwise, because as a visually impaired student, it was really hard for me to make friends in the general education setting. So when I came to ESY, all of these people were visually impaired like myself, and I'm like, oh, these people are cool, I can be their friend.
Yeah.
And I also, as I got older, I created relationships with the staff members, and they became my mentors or people I could go to for advice and stuff. And I could say the same about being a staff member, because my coworkers are people that I can go to if I need help with something, or, like, I don't know what to do, or, like, if I just want to go out and do something. And I have relationships with my students because I can be the staff member that can help them with things if they need it, or, like, just if they want to play a card game, I can play with them with cards and stuff.
Yeah, that's fun. I would say my favorite part of being a student and a staff member, like you said, is, like, the people that you get to meet and interact with, because pretty much all my life I've gone to schools with entirely sighted people. I actually don't think I've ever gone to a mainstream school that had another blind person, at least not that I can think of right now. So it was really cool to be able to connect with those people, because it's hard to relate to sighted people a lot of the times because they don't have a lot of the same experiences as we do. So it was nice to be able to be around peers and around adults who just automatically got it. It was a nice break from, the mainstream schools that I was attending. But also, I feel like I learned a lot of important skills. Like we have an ADL class, activities of daily living, and we have an AT class, assistive technology. So we are learning a lot of practical things, but not the type of things you would learn in school. It's more like life skills, which is especially important if you're visually impaired because you can't just watch other people and gain those skills. What was your favorite class when you were a student?
I loved ADL. ADL was my favorite class. But I also liked Rec and Leisure, which was kind of our PE class. So we always did like a bunch of really fun things. And it was really fun for me as a kid. But definitely ADL.
Yeah.
We got to cook sometimes.
Oh,
really
yes.
Fun.
I feel like we should talk about like what we do at ESY. Like as students, what the students do, and then obviously like what we do now. So as students, we have, I don't know how many classes, like 5 classes. Let's see.
Now it's 5, yes.
There's, because we didn't have Makerspace when we were younger, but we have AT, Assistive Technology, ADL, Activities of Daily Living. We have Classroom Time, Rec and Leisure, and then now they have Makerspace, but we didn't have that when we were youngsters, because it's fairly new. But yeah, in assistive technology, we learned about devices that help us as visually impaired students to access the world and kind of level the playing field between us and sighted people. So that includes like Braille note takers, audiobook readers, a lot of the stuff that I've already explored on this podcast in my assistive technology inventory series, which I hope to continue soon. I haven't done one of those in a while. But, and then ADL was like doing laundry, cooking, folding, yeah.
I think we did some sewing one time.
Oh, we did do sewing. I still have a pillow from that. And then classroom time was kind of, what did we do during classroom time? That's when we read books.
Yeah, we read books, we did crafts, we learned about whatever the theme was that year. For example, one year the theme was around the world, so we learned about like different countries like France and UK and other countries.
I loved the that year. Was that the Olympics year when we did the Olympics?
I think so, yes.
I loved that year. 2016, I think. But
yeah,
I thought it was fun because we like made flags for each of our countries. And okay, so that's another thing is that every year ESY has a theme. So this year it's jungle. It's a jungle out there. But in 2016 it was the Olympics, or all around the world. Last year it was Disney. What are some?
One year is 50s theme.
Oh yeah, and we had an 80s theme, which was awesome. Under the Sea. Yeah, all kinds of different themes. I still think we need to have like a space themed year. I don't know if we've done that yet. But we have like t-shirts to go along with it, and each of our classes is like a different thing relating to the theme. So this year everyone has an assigned animal, and so classroom time can be used to like research that animal or do arts and crafts that relate to that animal, things like that. Did I miss any classes? Oh, Rec and Leisure. So we rode bikes, we swam.
We did a bunch of games.
Yeah.
Like, we did obstacle courses, we did goal ball, beat baseball.
Yeah.
All the fun stuff.
We did explore like accessible sports, so that was cool. And I do want to do an episode on that as well. But yeah, so that was pretty much all the classes that we had. And then in Makerspace, kids are able to make things. So like I was talking about earlier, all sorts of creative activities. But we also have like STEM activities that we do with them. So like math games and like coding robots and whatnot. But a lot of the students just really like the the free time that they get to make things, which, understandable, making things is fun. Let's see, you taught in a classroom, or you helped in a classroom last year, so...
Yes, I did.
What was, you saw, like, all the different classes. What were some of the kids' like, favorite?
I know they all loved Makerspace. They were all really excited to go to Makerspace, and swimming and rec and leisure was always their favorite. They're always like, when are we going swimming? And I'm like, on Wednesday. We only swim on Wednesday.
I know how much you love swimming.
I cannot stand swimming.
Yeah, the swimming day is Monday now, which I think is a little bold, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, it works, whatever.
It works. I don't like swimming either, so I'm glad I wasn't like a IA, but in the classroom. I am an IA, but in the makerspace. So I can look down on the swimming people though, because the makerspace and the pool are in the same building. So there's this big giant window and I can just look down at you guys.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to do it anymore.
Watch me swimming last year.
Watch you suffer. It's a cool, like, little thing, but I never look out there. I think the kids love it, though. Whenever they walk by, they're like, ooh, it's the pool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Yeah. I really like our campus. I think it's kind of confusing, though, especially, like, if you're visually impaired, but I know it pretty well now, because I've been going there for years and years.
Yeah.
But we have... The Johnson building is where we have our main classrooms, and then Brighton is where the makerspace and the pool is. Maxwell is where the podcasting stuff is, and some offices. What else? Oh, Edland is the dorms. Does the cafeteria have a name?
I have no idea, actually.
It's a good question.
And then there's Irwin.
Oh yeah, Irwin.
Like the conference rooms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And security is there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot about Irwin. Oops. There was a class in there too last year.
Oh, yeah. And then we have the lovely track area and Eagle Alley.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, that's our mascot, is the Eagles. So Eagle Alley is new. We've been going there for years, so we've seen a lot of versions of the building, I guess. We saw it when it was under construction, which was fairly recently. It was like 2020, right?
It was like 2020-ish to 2022, I think.
Yeah.
2023.
It was a few years ago. And they added like this whole breezeway thing that used to just all be outside. And they actually have the espresso bar in there, the brailled bean. And so students work at that, and they can get experience for their resumes and, whatnot. I have worked there over the summer. It's been in several different locations. Like, we used to have a cart that we took around, the coffee cart, where we would sell things.
They still do the coffee cart.
Do they?
During the school year. Yeah, they do it during the school year.
Okay, I didn't know that. But one year, it was taken away from us, and and then we started working the espresso bar in the dorms, and then now it's in the Eagle Alley now. So
yeah, it has its own area. I actually worked at the espresso bar during the school year when I was in transition. It was great.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Speaking of transition, can you kind of describe what that is and like what your favorite and least favorite part about it is?
So, transition is a program that KSSB has, and it's for people that are finished with all their high school credits, and they can come to KSSB for a year, a semester, 2 years, or however long they need, and they can work on independent living skills, and they they can take college classes at the local community college, which is what I did. And when they're not in college, they can work on cooking, cleaning, other independent living skills. We did a financial literacy class for a little bit.
That's what I like about KSSB is it teaches you practical skills.
Yeah. I mean, the financial literacy class, I didn't learn much from it, but I know it could be very beneficial for other people.
Well, didn't you take finance in high school?
Yeah, I didn't learn anything from that class.
Brother.
I know.
That's okay. I guess it's not your fault.
Yeah.
I feel like high schools need more classes like that because it's just like a bunch of math and science, which is important, don't get me wrong, but, you know, it's supposed to be preparing us for college, which is the next step to the real world. So that's a cool thing about KSSB is that it teaches you practical skills like daily living skills and about technology and stuff like that.
Yes.
Is there anything else about KSSB that you think people should know about?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a pretty fantastic place, I must say.
I feel like we can never say enough about it.
Yeah.
It's
There's
just
always all sorts of stories and
Oh,
lore
yeah.
about KSSB.
Oh, yes.
Since we've been going there so long, like, there's stories and, like, random memories and, like, all... I could just go on and on about the random things we've done at KSSB. Like, one time, we took all the doorstops and we put them in... We were in the dorms, and we put them in the great room, which is, like, the giant common room upstairs. And we put them on the backs of the couches and, like, random places throughout the room.
Yes.
And one year we took everybody's office chairs off of our hallway and we rode them down the hall.
Wow, we're so fun. This is when we were students, by the way, not recently.
Yeah. I would never do that now because I'd be afraid of getting fired.
Yeah. We are very diligent staff members, I hope.
Yes.
Yeah, KSSB is a wild place. It's a jungle out there.
Yeah, the jungle theme fits.
Very well, yes. But it's I wouldn't trade my experiences there for anything because I remember dreading ESY, and I remember one year I was like so miserable thinking about having to go that I wore this black I Love New York shirt, and I was like, it's black and the heart is like scratched, so it represents how I feel about KSSB. But
see, I always looked forward to going to ESY.
I don't know why I was so like adamant that it was bad, because I always loved it.
Yeah, I've never been a homesick person, so I always looked forward to going, and I always thought it was so fun, and I was always so sad to leave.
Yeah. I honestly feel like I'm more homesick now than I used to be as a student, because like they have you doing so much stuff that it's like so much fun stuff, so much like useful stuff that you're distracted and you don't really think about like missing home. And it's only for a few weeks, so it's not like the whole summer or anything. But yeah, and the dorms, oh my gosh, we haven't talked about the dorms very much, like what we did as students.
Oh my goodness, the dorms.
Yeah.
That place is crazy.
My favorite year was our first year, which was 2017, when we had that like survival theme.
That wasn't my first year, but that was your first
year. Yeah, that was my year.
Like,
that was my first year.
Was great.
I loved that year. It was so fun, and we got to climb that rope in the gym, and we got to we went to a water park. I think that was so fun.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was so fun.
Yeah, dorms have activities too, so there's like. Yeah, that's also based on, like, the theme, and so, I don't know what
this year we've been doing jungle-themed activities.
Yeah, that's right, you were helping with tent
so
making. I forgot about that. So, they're doing jungle-themed activities this year, And obviously there's, like, the staples that we always do, which is, like, karaoke. Exactly. It's so fun. What else? What else do we always do? Card games.
Well, yeah, we did card games. We do swimming. We do a lot of things.
Yeah. A lot of fun things.
Yes. There is never a dull moment in the dorms.
That's for sure.
They keep the kids busy.
That is for sure. That's why I feel like I'm more homesick now, is because I used to be so busy as a kid. But now, like...
Well, now you have the evening just to chill.
Yeah, I have nothing to do. Like, I mean, I have things to do, but it's me making my own schedule, which is kind of hard for me, because there's no one around to, like, hang out with, unless I want to hang out with the students, which I could. But, yeah, I'm not on the clock in the evenings, so I'm just kind of sitting there doing...
Yeah, I was off the clock during the day, so, like, my mom and I, we were both working in the dorms, so we would go do stuff.
Yeah, lucky.
Or, like, I got to sleep in, and it was really nice.
Yeah, I don't get to sleep in.
Yeah, I just watched Netflix or, like, hung out.
You know when my shift started? 6:45 a.m.
Ew.
Yeah,
I got on the clock at 3, but I had to stay working until 11.
Yeah. See, that's, like, I feel like there's pros and cons to both, I feel like. I don't know. What, like, schedule did you like better?
I think time-wise, honestly, 3 to 11. I grew used to it, although I'd be chill going to bed at 11, but, like, I liked having the day to myself, just to chill.
That's fair.
It was really nice.
You weren't bored out of your mind like me?
I was bored, but I found things to do, and, like, I had my mom, so I could just hang out with my mom.
That's true. You had your mom, and Jeannie was also hung out with you guys, right?
Yes. Yeah, we did a bunch of stuff.
And Aaron sometimes?
Absolutely.
Oh, you guys must have had such fun adventures.
Oh, it was great.
But, yeah. Like Mary said, there's so much to say about KSSB. I feel like it's not just a one podcast episode topic. But we will be talking about, I'll have Lydia on the podcast next week, and we're going to talk about the Makerspace. And I'm going to have another staff member in the Makerspace come on the week after that to talk about her experience with working in special education, because this is her first year doing ESY. And, yeah, so we will be revisiting the topic of KSSB for the next few weeks, but I hope that was, like, a good introduction, or summary of KSSB and ESY and transition. If not, then we have failed you, and I am sorry.
Or we can do more episodes.
Yeah, that is true. We can always do more episodes. Mary will always be around. She's going to start hosting with me full-time starting in the fall. So that's something to look forward to. I know I'm looking forward to it. But for now, if you want to follow us on Instagram, our handle is The Unseen Perspective 2024. And if you have any feedback for us, or episode ideas, or questions, you can DM us on Instagram, or you can email us at theunseenperspective2024@gmail.com. And we are available on Spotify and YouTube, and we would appreciate your follow, your subscription, and obviously your tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope you'll catch up on earlier episodes if you need to, and we hope you'll tune in next time for our next episode and in the future. But until then, I hope you have a great day and a great week and a great summer, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Bye!